Jaffa Cake lovers of the world unite. I have joyous news to bring you. You know, if you know me, I've become completely obsessed with Jaffa Cakes and I've been sending them to people all over the world, which quite frankly is costing a goddamn fortune. So, I was delighted when a friend of mine gave me a recipe to make your own Jaffa Cakes. Can you believe it? So apparently it starts with jelly. I have therefore made some jelly, which I shall now pour into these shallow dishes. This will then set and make the orangey zesty bit that goes in the middle of a Jaffa cake. I will keep you updated because that needs to set and I need to cut discs out, and then I need to make the cake to go underneath, for they have been decreed as cakes and not biscuits, just to make that clear. And then when that's all done, a cat's just decided to come behind the camera as usual. Hello, Alice. When that's done, I will then melt some dark chocolate, pour it over the top, let it set, and then of course the taste test. So, Jaffa Cake lovers of the world, stay tuned and I will let you know if this Jaffa Cake recipe works. Please. Okay, and on we go with the Jaffa Cake. So recap, part one, get a packet of jelly and make it up to a pint and then pour it into 3 shallow dishes and leave it to set in the fridge. And I use low calorie jelly, which is only like 50 calories for a whole pint, so that's cool. Anyway, next thing you do is you take an egg, 1 ounce of sugar, or 25 grams, and 1 ounce of self-raising flour, which you'll sieve carefully. You will then place into a bowl and whisk and whisk and whisk and whisk until it is pale and light and fluffy. And if you use a hand whisk, then you're using up calories, so that's really cool. Then you can have an extra Jaffa cake. Then you get your bun tin and you grease it, really messily in my case. But think about it, that's the only fat that I've added. So this is actually really good and healthy. And I've just worked out that at this point, if that makes 12, that's only just under 30 calories for each one. And a Jaffa cake is 46, so depending on not putting too much chocolate on, you should be good for the under 50 calorie treat. Right, so next thing is I'm going to put that in there and put it in the oven at 180 degrees for about 10 minutes and then let it cool. Let's see what happens next. I'll be back. And while they're in the oven, I just like to point out that as the cook's treat, you are allowed to lick the bowl. See you in a bit. Here I am back again. There we are, 9 minutes later, and if you ask me, they look very much like the bases of Jaffa Cakes. So, all we've got to do now is wait for the jelly to set and melt some chocolate, and we're nearly there. Okay, that's all for now. I'll be back. Here we are at the next stage. Here are the spongy cakey bases covered in orange jelly. Yeah, I know it's a lot more than usually having a Jaffa cake, but I like the orange tanginess. Cut it out with that, stuck it on there. So now what I'm going to do is melt the dark chocolate in a pan over water and then pour it on there. And then we'll let it set and then we'll taste them. We're nearly there. Hang in there, Jaffa cake lovers. Hello, Jaffa cake devotees. We are now here. Oh, Christ, the cat's just walked in. Can I ever do a video without a bloody cat? Okay, we are now at the end of the journey of the Jaffa cake making. And all right, the one thing I will say is I'm quite good at cooking, but I'm really piss poor at presentation. So these are the Jaffa cakes. I know, they're not the prettiest. They don't look exactly like a Jaffa cake would look. However, they have the biscuit base, they have the jelly, and they have the chocolate, quite a lot of chocolate. So it's not about the looks, as I well know, it's about the taste. So I have my assistant behind me who is waiting patiently for a homemade Jaffa cake. So are you ready to try the taste test? It goes nothing. It's not a Jaffa cake, but it's got all the flavours of a Jaffa cake. I would say there's a lot more chocolate on this version than a normal Jaffa cake. But it does... What is Jaffa cake tasting? Don't you think?
It's not a Jaffa cake.
And what a Jaffa cake, no. Well, I got like twice the amount of jelly on it and about 3 times the amount of chocolate.
Maybe we call it a Jaffa cake.
A Jaffa cake!
Jaffa cake.
Anyway, it is... If you can't get Jaffa cakes...
Yes.
It's as close as you're going to get to a Jaffa cake. And you... Hang on a minute. You don't seem to have any of yours left.
Oh no, I've eaten it.
Do you need any more evidence? Okay, so homemade Jaffa cakes, not the same, but a hell of a lot better than the weird tasting ones, and I quite like them.
Oh yeah.
I'll
I'll
make
definitely
them
eat
again.
more of them. I mean, it's a Jaffa cake. It's very good. I like it. And by the way, you may see me stroking a cat like this. Stroking
I'm not a
cat
cat.
like this. But what I'm actually doing is wiping my hands because they're covered in chocolate.
And
So,
on that note,
Jaffa cakes. You know they
Jaffa
make
cakes.
sense.
If
Yeah,
you want the
Jaffa cakes.
recipe, let me know, DM me, and I'll give you the recipe. And that is it for the Jaffa cake experiment. I'm going to finish mine. There's another half a dozen in the fridge, so
Not so long.
someone's got to eat them. Anyway, Jaffa cake lovers, keep it spooky.